Welcome to another edition of NFL DFS Picks here on Fantasy Focus through Monkey Knife Fight. I'm Derek Tate alongside with the rest of the Fantasy Focus crew, Ryan Levy and Matt Bucks, as we break down our picks for one of the two Monday Night Football games to finish up week one of action as the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the New York Giants. Boys, how'd we do yesterday? I actually hit one of these 30 times, 6 for 6 over-unders, more or less. I feel pretty good heading into Monday night, boys.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think for the first time, this is the first time we've done NFL on Monkey Knife Fight. Neither of us, or none of us, all three of us, have to redeposit on Monday Night Football. So we did good.
It's a good start.
Yeah, I did cash in on a couple of touchdown dances. The middle option, which is what, 3x. Yeah, I love the touchdown dance. My key observation I'm taking away from week one.
Yeah, touchdown dance, including for this Monday night's tilt between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants, I'm absolutely all about. That's the first thing that I'm playing. Levy, you have your screen shared, so why don't you break down some of the I think that the two easy ones, you get both starting running backs, ones that in particular that are capable of punching it in from inside the 5-yard line. I don't see anybody taking carries away from Saquon Barkley or James Conner if either of the teams get inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, I'm with you for sure on that. I got to get both of these running backs in here. It's just a question of, to me, obviously, who do we go with as our third option here? So it's probably between Evan Ingram and Juju Smith-Schuster-Scheinman for me. But I'm curious to get your guys' take on that. And do we go with more than 3.5 touchdowns or 4.5? I want to go for 4.5. I want the big money.
Oh, boy. Now you got me all nervous. All right, so Saquon scores, James Conner scores.
2 each?
I don't believe so, no.
I think one of them has a multi-touchdown game.
I agree with you there. Sterling Shepard intrigues me a lot. But Tate, you probably know the matchups a lot better than I do, so why don't you break down what Sterling Shepard's up against and what are your thoughts there?
This Pittsburgh defense is legit. Like, we're talking about Sterling Shepard. And do you feel even remotely confident? I know Golden Tate has been a little nicked up and shown up on the injury report, but Evan Ingram, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, and Saquon coming out of the backfield. I mean, I know that Shepard seems to always finish around 5 to 7 targets. He's a slot machine, really, but they flexed him outside quite a bit last season. I just don't feel 100% confident that, he's going to see a slew of red zone targets or anything of that nature. And not to mention when you're going up against Joe Hayden and the rest of this secondary. I mean, we got Steven Nelson. Of course, we got Minkah Fitzpatrick. I mean, this is a very, very talented group on the other side of the football. So I would much rather look for a bounce back opening week for Juju Smith-Schuster, who has much more enticing matchups, whether he's lining up in the slot or outside. I think we're going to see a lot of him in the slot, I think, because you drafted Chase Claypool. You also have James Washington that are, predominantly more outside vertical threats. I know you're going to have Deontay Johnson mixed in there, but make no mistake, I think that Juju sees around 7 to 10 targets today, in particular against this secondary for the New York Giants, which I expect to struggle. Give me Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, I think that's the logical choice here. I mean, this Steelers defense is no joke. They were great last year. They kept this team afloat. And Big Ben returning, I think they got something to prove tonight. Juju needs to bounce back. He's a guy that fell pretty far in fantasy drafts this year. I actually don't have any shares of him, unfortunately, but I believe in the bounce back.
Yeah, I think with a game like this, Monday night, stars show up to play. I like this pick here.
All right, I'm just going to go 3x the buy.
I was going to say, pump your britches a little bit there, pal, with the 4.5. 5 TDs is a boatload.
So 5 pays you out 15, and now we're going to bring you my favorite part of the week. Tater hit one of these yesterday. Another one we went 5 out of 6 on Sunday Night Football. Cooper Kupp fell a little short there, which sucked. That was disappointing. But
did he change his number? Is he now number 10?
Yeah, wasn't he 18 last year?
Yeah, that threw me off. Maybe
that
was weird. His game back, Tate.
I think so.
Did we lose Tate?
I think Tate might be frozen on us. Oh man, he'll be coming back. But yeah, that was what we lost on Sunday Night Football. That was rough, man. I did not expect the Cowboys to lose like that. And Cooper Kupp broke our hearts on Sunday Night Football. So
Whoopsie. Sorry about that.
You want to talk about breaking hearts? Can you zoom in on Daniel Jones for me real quick?
I'm not gonna lie, Bucky. On a Mac, I don't know how to zoom in with my fingers, and I'm a
rookie.
Dude, I'm afraid that like I'll press the escape button, like my computer will explode. So I'm not gonna try to zoom in.
I mean, I love that picture. It makes me want to bet the more on.
He looks
Daniel
like a little
Jones
kid.
Here.
He looks like a baby.
Yeah, as a young-looking old person, I can relate. So I love Daniel Jones for that reason.
Hold on. I'm going to share my screen here in just a second. I'll zoom in. I'll zoom in on your boy.
It's worth a zoom.
It is.
I'm not even sure he's actually wearing a Giants shirt in real life. Like it looks photoshopped.
It really does, and he looks like his like high school headshot.
I love that guy. All right, so let's break some of this down. I think we lost Tate again. Ben Roethlisberger, 279.5, more or less. What are your thoughts there, Levy?
I think the Steelers are going to run the ball. I think they're going to get out ahead. So naturally, I want to lean less. Yesterday, though, if I look at the slate, it seemed like a lot of these guys went more across the board in general at the QB position. So I am a little bit hesitant there. But again, I think James Conner probably gets 20 carries tonight, and they're going to get out ahead and lean on the run game and play solid defense like they always do. So for that reason, I kind of want to lean less than 279.5. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm leaning less here. I think Connor actually ends up closer to 15 than 20. I think 20 is a stretch on the carries front.
Sure.
But regardless, I think they want to play that game control, and they want to make sure that the clock is on their side. So 280 is a hell of a mark to reach here for the return of Big Ben, Beardless Ben, as I call him now. I'm going to go less as well.
All right, cool. I want to shift to the end here with James Conner. I have more than 75.5 rushing yards. If we collectively think he's going to get 15 to 20 carries, somewhere in between there, between Bucky and I's guess on Monday Night Football, I'm going to lean more. Do you have any major hesitations there?
I don't have hesitation on that. I think more.
Okay. What about Sterling Shepard receptions, 5.5? That's a pretty high number to me.
I'm going to go less.
All right, cool. Saquon, 85.5 rushing yards. We're talking about the Steelers defense. What do you think?
It's Saquon.
Right.
I do feel like he'll have more involvement in the passing game than what maybe game script would say going into the game. 86 is quite a bit, but I'm going to say more just because the offense is going to funnel through him. And let's hope for the best here.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with more than 85.5. I just don't want to be the guy that's fading Saquon. I respect the Steelers defense and all that, but again, we're talking about one of the best players in the National Football League. So I think if the Steelers hold him the 90 yards on the ground, they'll be happy about it. And they'll still win this game pretty easily. The spread's 5.5, just for the record out there. But what about if we're going to go more on Saquon, what about Daniel Jones? How do you feel about him through the air? I mean, Tater was talking about the defensive backs, Joe Hayden, Minkah Fitzpatrick. I know they're great defensive players. They're just loaded in general. How do you feel about Danny Dimes at 240?
I'll say more just because I think they're going to have to throw the football.
Yeah, I see him playing from behind as well. So I don't think it's going to be a pretty 240. There might be a couple interceptions mixed in there for Danny Dimes, but I think he'll have a salvageable fantasy day.
Well, the way I look at it, right, those cappers in Vegas are on top of their game. 5.5. Really, they predict this to be a tighter match than I think most of the public. So if that's going to be the case, Danny Jones is going to have to throw for more than 240 yards to keep this close. It's kind of weird that we have Saquon more and Daniel Jones more, and we both think it's going to be a losing effort. That's my only concern with setting it up this way.
Fair. What about Juju, though? What do we do with Juju?
I mean, Tate would have said more.
Right.
So I'm going to go with more. Tate's a pretty smart guy. and especially when it comes to this football stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go more here on Juju.
All right. Are we sure we want to keep Big Ben at less than 279.5? That's my biggest question here to you.
Do you think this is going to end up 35-24, something like that? I don't see it.
No.
So I'm gonna say less.
All right, cool. Because I just think the Steelers defense is too good to end up with a score that high.
Yeah.
I would be, if I was betting on this game, I'd be staying away from the over-under personally, unless you're doing a teaser or something like that. But
because you never bet under.
Yeah, you just don't want to bet the under. But in this case, I think James Conner gets it done on the ground. Tomlin's been singing his praises, so that's what I'm going to lean on there.
Yeah, and the cool part about this is you got to get all 6. It's only a $2 investment with potential returns of 35x. So for me, you're just taking stabs on it. Tate, this is what we have. What are your thoughts here?
Going less on Big Ben, more on Daniel Jones. Receiving yards. If you're going less on Big Ben, I expect the Steelers to be playing from ahead. I'm going to go less on Juju Smith-Schuster at the yard. I think that the total yards for Saquon Barkley is more likely than 85 yards rushing. That's kind of high against that defensive unit. So I'm going to stay away from the over on that as well. Shepard, I'm fine with fewer than 5 or than 6 catches. And then I like the over or like the more on James Conner.
All right, so I do want to say the only reason we picked Juju more is because we assumed that you were going to say more.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that.
So yeah, punch that less button, please.
Yeah, I expect that he'll have a nice stat line surprise somewhere around 4 or 5 receptions for around 60, 65 yards. I just don't know if I see a long tutty in store for Juju Smith-Schuster, and I don't know how much they're going to be throwing the ball in the second half.
Saquon's my only hesitation now. You got me. Yeah. You got me double guessing here.
I mean, if you think he's going to have a big night against this defense, and he's going to rush for 86 yards or more, then he's certainly capable. Yeah, but I think that's a high total against this defensive unit.
I don't think he has a big night. Let me be clear. I think he could probably catch 5 passes and be over 100 total yards, but I just feel like
straight rushing though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying if they're going to give him 15 carries minimum, even if they're playing from behind, I still feel like he gets 90 yards on the ground.
I think he does have 15 plus. So that's my reasoning as well, Levy.
I mean, if they run the ball 15 times and he gets to 90 yards, you're thinking that he's averaging over 5 yards per carry, and that's all that he's going to see. I mean, if he sees 15 carries and he's averaging 5 yards a clip, then I imagine he's going to touch the ball 20 times on the ground. I just don't think he's going to be that efficient.
Punch the less.
Oh, you flipped on me.
Listen, I just bend the knee to sales guy Tate.
We should have just ended the episode before Tate was able to restart his.
Look,
listen, man. Tate won one of these yesterday. I'm gonna ride the hot hand here.
Fair enough. All right, we are.
And you guys are gonna roll with Danny Dimes going over. That's fine if they're gonna be playing. Oh boy, they didn't like it. They said no.
There was a glitch in the matrix. I got to redo it real quick.
Game is no longer because it broke. It said don't do it. Danny Dimes going over 240 against this defense. Oh boy.
Oh man! So
they switched it to Deontay Johnson.
Oh, I hate to see this now. Now what do we do, Tate? And
this is a mind. You know what?
Jesus! You know what? The whole thing is flipped.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, now Juju Smith-Schuster on reception total. Oh boy, that's not kosher now.
What Tate says, I think he's gonna get 5 or 6 for 60.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, oh boy, they're listening to me as we're literally talking about it. They're like, okay, we're gonna reset this thing real quick. Boom. Yeah.
Let's go all the way less.
Let's just do less across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
And they bumped Big Ben down by 3 yards or 4 yards.
Jeez, crazy, man. All right. Wait. 6 out of 6 buying $2. All right, just making sure.
Try not to switch anything else on you last second.
You know, $2 to win 70. It's the best bet on the platform. I love this.
Yeah, by the way, if you have not yet done so, I know it has it up on the top of the screen, but if you haven't gone to monkeyknifefight.com yet, go ahead, create an account, and use the promo code FOCUS when you make your first deposit of $50 or more. And Monkey Knife Fight will automatically credit you with an additional $50 to play around with. There is money to be made on monkeyknifefight.com. I love the prop bets. Like, I'm a prop bet guy. I want to stay with the yardage, not really the fantasy totals. I seem to be I feel more comfortable about that, even though they just threw us a curveball, dude. The Monkey Knife Fight gods are literally listening to us as we break down every single one of these concepts.
Always.
So, but if you have not yet done so, if this is your first time coming across our YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well, just so you don't miss any of our fantasy football content here on Fantasy Focus. Until next time, everybody, good luck and later, says the Taylor.
See you.
See you.